If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a Boko Haram terrorist or a Fulani terrorist, by now he would have been given his freedom. He would have been released, acquitted, and discharged unconditionally from the prison. And also, he would have been given amnesty and, of course, given money, billions of naira, and promised that he can also contest for the presidency at any point in time. Such is the fate of the leader of the Igbos worldwide, who, of course, is facing the highest level of persecution in the Nigerian state. I am calling on the entire world to take note of the religious, ethnic persecution of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a man who has done nothing but fight for his people in all his doings. Talking about freeing terrorists and freeing bandits and, of course, equipping them, this video will be talking about 5 times where Boko Haram terrorists who were under trial but were released unconditionally, and of course were even given money to go ahead and continue what they were doing. So whatever you're doing, I advise to leave it and focus on this video. Take a second to like. If it's your first time, subscribe and click on that bell, selecting the one that says all to get notified whenever we release a video. Grab your popcorn and let's dive right in. Number 1. Court orders release of 313 suspected Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State, March 2024. In March 2024, a federal high court in Borno State ordered the release of 313 people who had been detained as suspected Boko Haram members because the prosecution considered that there was insufficient evidence to charge them. The defense headquarters said the suspects would be handed to the Borno State government for reintegration after the court's ruling. Are you seeing? So when we are telling you, we are not just talking. We are telling you with facts that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a Boko Haram terrorist, he is more likely to have his freedom as a Fulani terrorist or a Boko Haram terrorist than an Igbo innocent man. That is the truth. The terrorists in the north have more rights, have more privileges than the Igbos of Nigeria. Let's go on. Number 2. Mass release of 475 suspects in Kainji, Wawa cantonment, February 2018. In February 2018, a federal high court sitting in a military facility ordered the release of 475 detainees alleged to be the Boko Haram affiliates because the prosecution could not link most of them to specified terrorism acts. Many had been detained for years, some were women and children. The government arranged rehabilitation and reintegration through state authorities instead of continuing detention. Are you seeing the pattern? Are you seeing the pattern? Not only are they releasing them, they are funding them. They are giving them VIP treatment and sending them back to where they came from. Do you see the difference between the treatment of these people and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? According to the report, it says here that the prosecution could not link most of them to the specified terrorist act. And I want to ask, did the prosecution link Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to any specified terrorism act? I'm waiting. Did the prosecution, Aromolo, did he link Nnamdi Kanu to any specified terrorism act? At that point, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a terrorist, by now he would have left the prison. He would have been free, enjoying himself, having meetings with politicians. That is the country called Nigeria. If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, just know that they did not explain it well to you. Number 3, large early discharge of hundreds at Kainji prosecutions. This happened between 2017 and 2018 cycle. As the government tried mass prosecutions of suspected insurgents in the Kainji Cotton Karfi process, reports show hundreds of detainees were discharged because prosecutors could not establish a prima facie case. One report puts discharge numbers in the high hundreds over the program's phases. These discharges were part of the operational pattern in which military arrests were followed by judicial review that often ended in release for lack of proof. I heard the word prima facie case as I read through this script, and this is exactly what Nnamdi Kanu is saying in his own case, that there is no prima facie case established against him. Remember when he filed the no trial submission, banking on the fact that there was no prima facie case established enough for him to start off his defense, and Justice Adjournment Omotosho decided to strike that no case submission out, asking Nnamdi Kanu to proceed with his defense. But the judge failed to tell us what is the case that they established. What is the prima facie case they established for us to be able to proceed with this defense in the first place. Nnamdi Kanu has not been caught with a gun, a bomb. He has not caused mass destruction in his town, in the Igbo land, whatever. But these terrorists I'm talking about now, these people are Boko Haram suspects. They are criminals. They are terrorists. We see what they do every day. In fact, the soldiers are waging a war against them in the north. And when you catch them, you are still talking about you could not able to find a prima facie case against them. This is a case of fraud. A case as clear as air that they want to free these people. The country does not have the willpower to prosecute northern terrorists. It's clear. It is clear. Let us not debate about it. It's an open secret. Everybody knows what is going on in the country. Everybody knows that the country is in bed, is in league with the northern terrorists. And of course, the privileged people of the north, mostly the Fulani terrorists. This is the truth, and nobody can ever deny. This is the truth. Number 4, discharge and withdrawal of charges against a Fulani group leader by name Bello Bodejo, May 39th, 2024. In a politically charged episode, the Federal High Court in Abuja discharged Bello Bodejo, leader of the Miyetti Allah Cartel Hori, after the Attorney General's office withdrew, did you hear? Withdrew the terrorism-related charge in the interest of justice, according to them, in quote, in the interest of justice, in quotes. Reports named Justice Inyang Ekwo as presiding when the charge was withdrawn, and the discharge entered May 29, 2024. The withdrawal prompted partisan debate. Supporters called it vindication. Opponents slammed it as political calculation. Did you see what's going on? They said in the interest of justice that the Miyetti Allah Cartel Hori, the man who is responsible for all the highway robberies, the man who is spearheading the leader of the Miyetti Allah, who are responsible for the kidnaps going on in the southern Nigeria, in parts of the north central, the kidnap for ransom, the terrorism going on in the farms, the farmers, headers, war going on. This Miyetti Allah leader was arrested by Tinubu, and within a short time, his release was negotiated, saying it's in the interest of justice. This is the kind of people that should be rotting in jail. They are complicit. In fact, this man established a security outfit which is against the law. The same thing they accused Nnamdi Kanu of doing, of establishing the BSS and the ESN. This Miyetti Allah leader, Bodejo, established the Fulani security. That is official. Then he has the one that is unofficial, which is the Fulani bandits, which is the Fulani terrorists, the ones that are going on in the bushes. Those are the soldiers. Those are the army of Allah fighting for jihad to establish a caliphate where Nigeria will be their country and they can graze and they can live and take over as they like. The Miyetti Allah Fulani terrorists are the foot soldiers of Usman Dan Fodio, who are carrying out the same thing of Fulanization jihad to take over Nigeria. They are not ordinary people. These people are working for the Northern Cabal. They are working for the Fulani terrorists, the Fulani Caliphate, who seeks to dominate Nigeria and establish a Sharia rule over this country in the coming years to come. And already they are on course for it. They are moving. Ever since APC took over government in 2015, it has been like that. It has been like that. Ever since the APC took over Nigeria, they signed it that this is going to be their cause. And Buhari was their leader. Buhari was the person that promised the Fulani that he is going to establish it in Nigeria. That is why his whole 8 years was talking about Ruga, ranching, Fulani herdsmen, every day, Fulani herdsmen, give them land, don't give them land. Every day till he left that power was about establishing that Fulani caliphate for the Fulani. And now Tinubu has taken over and it's still the same way. The promise he made and the promise he's keeping for them. The promise he made. How can the Fulani man be in prison? It's impossible. In Nigeria, it's not going to happen. Never. Never. Number 5, Kuje prison break. Mass escape after an IS-linked attack, which is ISIS-linked attack on 5th July 2022 and the suspicious conversation around it. On 5th July 2022, gunmen reported to include ISWAP IS-linked fighters attacked Kuje Medium Custodial Center, Abuja, and about 879 inmates escaped. Around half of those escapees were recaptured in the following days. That is around half, which is around 400 or 300 were recaptured. That means the remaining 500 are still moving around as we speak. Let's go on. The attack was widely reported as an external militant raid that overran the facility. The NCOS released lists and photos of many escapees. Analysts and commentators raised serious questions about security lapses. And in social media and some commentary threads, there were allegations of insider collusion or that the escape benefited certain prisoners in ways that looked arranged. It is not allegation. That prison break was well arranged, coordinated by, of course, the terrorist government who wanted to appease the terrorists who had earlier released many people from in Kaduna area who were kidnapped, and they used those students, people who were kidnapped in the Kaduna area of northern Nigeria to negotiate the release of their men who were in the prison. And of course, you know that it will be awkward for the government to just open up the prison for the terrorists to go. So there was a negotiation that they will come and break their people out, because the reports on that day was that the prison officials didn't even fire a gun. Everybody stood and watched as this thing happened. There was no gunshot from the prison officials. Now, these terrorists came into the Kuje prison and spent around 3 hours. 3 hours there, releasing their prisoners one by one. They were not afraid. They were there, and there's an army checkpoint or cantonment close by there. Nobody came there. It was silently done and covered under Buhari's government. This is the kind of country Nigeria is. And that is why the American government need to act fast. They need to act fast in both the issues of Nigeria and the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because Nigeria is fastly closing into a Fulani Islamic estate of Usman Dan Fodio. Nigeria is closely becoming that thing people think it can never become. That is why everybody needs to understand the battle we are fighting, the battle Nnamdi Kanu is fighting, is not a selfish battle. It's a battle that will benefit even people who are even fighting him. It's a battle that will benefit even the Northerners, the Middle Belt, and the Southerners, even the Yoruba. The South, they will all benefit this battle. Because people don't understand, they don't see what he's saying. Like a prophet. They think he's just blabbing. But look at it's already happening every day. The kidnaps going on in the bushes is not ordinary kidnap. It is a way of raising funds to buy arms for their, plans. They are trying to use this kidnapping to normalize it, to shroud it, to look like insecurity. But that is not the plan. They have taken over the bushes. They have taken over the hinterlands. And they have the money. They have the support from the government. And they have the support from terrorist countries like Iran and other countries of the world. And they use the local money gotten from the ransoms to buy their weapons and sustain their livelihoods. This battle is not ordinary. Terrorists coming into a prison, taking 4 or 5 hours to release their people, shouting Allah Akbar, and nobody shot a gun, nobody came to even do anything about it. A whole prison in Nigeria. And you think America is not watching these things? If Nnamdi Kanu was a Boko Haram, Fulani terrorist, by now, he would have been released long time ago, and he would have even continued what he was doing. Because those are the people who are the foot soldiers of the plan that they have for Nigeria. There is a plan for Nigeria. And that plan will not favor me or you. That plan will not favor Nnamdi Kanu. It will not favor anybody except the Fulani. Except the Fulani. And as extension, their Hausa brothers. That's all. That's all. Are we going to stand and watch? Or are we going to keep fighting till the leader of the people of Igbo is released? We must protect ourselves. We must emancipate ourselves, first of all, with knowledge. Because knowledge, as they say, is power. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, turn on notification bell, select the one that says all. When you click the bell, select the one that says all to get notified whenever I release a video. I've been your host, Chi. Nay. Do. Thank you for watching my video. So I see you next one. Peace.